Robert Cialdini. Have you ever found yourself saying yes to something you didn't really want to do? Maybe you bought something you didn't need or agreed to help someone when you were already busy. I know I have. For a long time, I've been easily convinced by salespeople, fundraisers, and others. I started to wonder why this happens. What makes us say yes to some requests and no to others? This question became my job. As a psychologist, I began to research the science of persuasion, also known as compliance. I wanted to find out the reasons people agree to requests. I did experiments and learned about some important ideas called principles of influence. These principles are like hidden tools that some people use to persuade us. In this book, we will explore 7 of these powerful tools or principles. They are like levers of influence that can make people say yes. These principles are reciprocation, liking, social proof, authority, scarcity, commitment and consistency, and unity. These principles are effective because they are based on natural human tendencies. They are shortcuts that our minds use to make decisions quickly in a busy world. Most of the time, these shortcuts are helpful. But sometimes, people who want to take advantage of us can use these shortcuts against us. People in sales, marketing, and other professions know how to use these principles to get us to agree to their requests. This book will teach you how these principles work in everyday life. You will learn how to recognize them and how to protect yourself from being unfairly influenced. We will look at examples from business, politics, and our personal lives. The book is organized into chapters, with each chapter focusing on one of the 7 principles. The order of the chapters follows a special idea called the core motives model. This model explains that when someone tries to persuade you, they usually have a main goal. These goals can be to make you like them, to make you feel sure about their idea, or to make you do something. The first chapters will explain principles that are good for building relationships and making people like you. These are reciprocation, liking, and unity. Then, we will talk about principles that help reduce uncertainty and make people feel confident. These are social proof and authority. Finally, we will discuss principles that are best for getting people to take action. These are commitment and consistency and scarcity. By understanding these 7 principles, you will understand how influence works and become better at making your own decisions. You will also learn how to use these principles in a good way in your own life. 2. Giving and taking. Chapter 2, Giving and Taking. This chapter is about a very important rule. If someone gives you something, you should give something back. We call this rule reciprocation. It's like give and take. It's a basic idea in all cultures. If someone does you a favor, you should do a favor for them. If you get a gift, you should give a gift back later. Why is this rule so important? Because it helps people work together. Imagine if you helped someone but they never helped you back. You might not want to help them again, but if people usually give back, it makes it easier for people to help each other. This helps society work better. This rule is very strong. Sometimes people can use it to get you to say yes to things you don't really want to do. Think about free samples. When you are given a free sample in a shop, you might feel like you should buy something, even if you didn't plan to. This is because of reciprocation. The company gives you a not-so-free sample, and then you feel like you need to give them something back by buying their product. Sometimes people can use reciprocation in a bigger way. In politics, for example, politicians might do favors for each other. Then later, they can ask for a favor back. In business, companies might give gifts to get other companies to do business with them. It's important to know that the rule of reciprocation can work even if you didn't ask for the first favor. If someone does something for you, you can still feel like you need to give something back. This can be a problem if someone is trying to trick you. They might give you a small favor so you feel like you have to agree to a much bigger request later. Sometimes, people might give you something you don't want or need. You still might feel like you have to give something back. This can lead to unequal exchanges where you give more than you received. There's also a technique called rejection then retreat. Imagine someone asks you for something big and you say no. Then they ask for something smaller. You might feel like they have made a concession, and so you should make a concession too and say yes to the smaller request. This is also based on reciprocation. How can you protect yourself from people who try to use reciprocation to trick you? It's important to recognize when someone is trying to use this rule to manipulate you. If you feel like you are only saying yes because you feel like you have to because of reciprocation, stop and think. Ask yourself, did I really want this? Or am I just saying yes because I feel like I owe them something? If it's the second one, it's okay to say no. You don't always have to give back if someone is trying to trick you. You can defend yourself against manipulative reciprocation by understanding how it works and being aware of your feelings of obligation. 3. Liking people. Chapter 3. Liking people. We often say yes to people we like. This is normal. But sometimes we say yes to people we like even when we should say no. This chapter is about why liking makes us say yes and how people can use this to influence us. Think about situations where you bought something from someone you liked. Maybe a friend sold you something or a charity worker who was very friendly. Liking is a powerful tool. Some examples show how strong it is. Tupperware parties are a good example. People buy Tupperware at parties because they like the person who invites them, usually a friend. Charity requests also work better when the person asking is likable. Referral programs in business use liking too. You are more likely to buy something if a friend suggests it. People who want to convince you often try to make you like them. They know that if you like them, you are more likely to say yes. How do they do this? There are some things that make people like us more. One thing is physical attractiveness. Good-looking people are often liked more. We think they are also kind, honest, and smart. This is not always true, but liking is often automatic. People who are attractive can be more persuasive. Another factor is similarity. We like people who are similar to us. This can be in small things like clothes or hobbies or bigger things like opinions. Salespeople may try to find things they have in common with you to make you like them. Compliments also increase liking. People love to be praised. Even if the compliments are not completely true, we often like the person who gives them. People trying to influence you may use compliments to make you like them. Contact and cooperation also build liking. When we work with someone towards a goal, we tend to like them more. Cooperation makes people feel friendly towards each other. How can you protect yourself from being influenced just because you like someone? It is important to know that liking can be a trick. When someone is very friendly and you start to like them quickly, be careful. Ask yourself, do I like this person more than I should just after meeting them? If the answer is yes, maybe they are trying to influence you using liking. When you need to say no, remember to separate the person from the request. Think about the offer itself, not just about how much you like the person making the offer. Decide based on facts, not just feelings of liking. This will help you say no even to people you like. 4. Following others. Imagine you are in a new city and want to find a good restaurant. You see two restaurants, one is empty and the other is full of people. Which one do you choose? Most people will choose the full restaurant. Why? Because we often think that if many people are doing something, it must be the right thing to do. This is called social proof. Social proof means we look at what others are doing to decide how we should act. It's like saying if many people are doing it, it must be good. This works in many parts of our lives. Think about online reviews. When you buy something online, you often check what other people say about it. If many people give a product good reviews, you are more likely to buy it. Businesses use this idea a lot. They might say their product is the most popular or fastest selling. They don't need to tell you their product is good. They just show you that lots of other people think it is good. Sometimes we follow others because we are not sure what to do. Imagine you see people running in the street. You might start running too because you think something dangerous is happening. You use other people's actions as proof of what is right or safe. This is especially true when we are uncertain. If you are in a new place or situation, you are more likely to look around and see what others are doing. However, following others can also lead to problems. Sometimes we think that if no one is worried, then everything is okay, even when it is not. This is called pluralistic ignorance. Imagine a group of people see someone who needs help. Everyone might look at each other to see if anyone else is helping. If no one else looks worried or helps, everyone might think that help is not needed. This is why sometimes in an emergency, people do not get help even when many people are around. Everyone is looking to others for social proof and no one is acting. If you need help in an emergency, it is important to make it clear that you need help. Instead of just shouting, "Help," it is better to point to one person and say, "You in the blue shirt, I need help. Call for an ambulance." This makes it clear to that person that they are responsible and need to act. The number of people doing something also matters. The more people who seem to be doing something, the more likely we are to think it is the right thing to do. This is people power. Big groups can be very convincing because it looks like everyone is doing it. Sometimes, bad things can also become popular because of social proof. There is something called the Werther effect. This is named after a book where the main character kills himself. After the book was published, more people started killing themselves. This happened because people who were already thinking about suicide saw the book and thought that suicide was something that other people like them were doing. This shows how social proof can be used in a bad way. It is important to know about social proof so we can protect ourselves from it when people try to use it to trick us. We need to ask ourselves if we are following others without thinking. Sometimes, following others is good and helpful, but sometimes we need to think for ourselves and not just follow the crowd. We should be aware of when social proof is being used to influence us, especially if it feels like someone is trying to trick us into doing something we don't want to do. It is important to be smart and think for ourselves, even when it seems like everyone else is doing something different. 5. Listening to experts. We often listen to experts. It's normal to follow people who know more than us, especially when we are not sure what to do. This is the idea behind the principle of authority. It says that people tend to obey authority figures, even if it goes against their own wishes. One famous example of this is the Milgram experiments. In these studies, people were told to act as teachers and give electric shocks to learners when they made mistakes. The shocks were not real, but the teachers did not know this. The surprising thing was that many teachers continued to give shocks, even when the learners seemed to be in pain and begged them to stop. This happened because a man in a white coat who seemed to be in charge told them to continue. This man was the authority figure. The Milgram experiments showed how strong the power of authority can be. People often obey those they see as authority figures, even when it can be dangerous or wrong. This blind obedience can be a problem in many situations. For example, in hospitals, nurses usually follow doctors' orders. This is generally good, but if a doctor makes a mistake and nurses do not question it because of authority, it can be harmful to patients. Authority figures often have symbols that show their power. Titles are one symbol. If someone is called doctor or professor, we often think they are experts. Clothing can also show authority. Think about police uniforms or judges' robes. These clothes tell us who is in charge. Trappings like expensive cars or fancy offices can also be symbols of authority. But not all authority is bad. We often need experts to guide us. A credible authority is someone who is both an expert and trustworthy. Expertise means they know a lot about a subject. Trustworthiness means they are honest and will tell you the truth, even if it's not what you want to hear. Sometimes, people try to seem trustworthy by being sincere. They might say something slightly against their own interest to make you believe they are honest. How can we protect ourselves from being unfairly influenced by authority? We should ask ourselves, is this person really an expert? And is this expert really telling me the truth? Don't just follow someone because they seem to be in charge. Think for yourself. Remember, it's important to listen to real experts, but it's also important to think for ourselves and not blindly follow authority, especially if something doesn't feel right. 6. Wanting more. Have you ever wanted something more because you couldn't have it easily? This is the idea behind wanting more, or scarcity. When things are limited, we often want them more. Think about sales that say limited time only, or only a few left. These words make us feel like we need to act fast or we'll miss out. Scarcity works because we believe that things that are hard to get are usually better. If something is rare, we think it must be valuable. For example, shops might say they only have a limited number of items to make you buy quickly. Deadlines also use scarcity. If a sale ends soon, you might feel you must buy now, even if you don't really need it. Why do we feel this way? It's partly because of something called psychological reactance. This idea means that when we feel our freedom is taken away, we want it back even more. When something becomes scarce, it feels like our freedom to have it is limited. We react against this feeling and want the scarce thing even more. Think about children. If you tell a child they cannot have a certain toy, they suddenly want that toy more than any other. Teenagers are the same. If parents say no to something, teenagers often want it even more because they feel their independence is challenged. Scarcity also works when information is limited. Imagine if a book is banned or censored. Suddenly, people become very interested in reading it. The limited information makes it seem more valuable and desirable. We think, if they don't want us to see it, it must be important. Competition makes scarcity even stronger. When we have to compete with others to get something scarce, we want it even more. Think about popular toys at Christmas. When everyone wants them and shops have few in stock, people are more likely to rush and buy, even if they must pay more. Scarcity is strongest when it is new. If something has always been rare, we accept it. But if something becomes scarce that was once easy to get, we react strongly. Imagine your favorite coffee shop suddenly closes down. You would want to go there much more than before it closed, just because you can't anymore. Also, scarcity is stronger when we compete for things. If you and someone else are both trying to buy the last item, you will want it even more because of the competition. How can we protect ourselves from scarcity tricks? When you notice you really want something just because it's scarce, stop and think. Ask yourself, do I want this just because it is hard to get, or do I really need it? Remember that scarce things are not always better. They are just harder to get. Don't let the feeling of wanting more make you do something you'll regret later. Focus on if you truly need something, not just if it is rare. 7. Being the same. The power of saying yes before can change what we do later. We like to be seen as people who keep their word. This is called consistency. If we said we would do something, we want to do it. It is like a rule we follow inside our minds. Think about promises you make. When you promise to meet a friend, you usually go. When you say you will start exercising, you often try to start. This is because you want to be consistent with your words. Small promises can grow into big actions. If you agree to a small thing, you are more likely to agree to a bigger thing later. Imagine a friend asks you to help them for 1 hour. You say yes. Then later, they ask you to help them for the whole day. Because you already said yes to the small request, it is harder to say no to the bigger one. For a promise to change us, it should be something we do actively. It is stronger if we say it out loud in public. It is even stronger if it takes effort to do, and if we feel we chose to do it freely. When we make a commitment like this, it changes how we see ourselves. We start to think, I am the kind of person who does this. Sometimes people use this to trick us. They might get us to agree to something small first and then change the deal to be worse for us. This is called the lowball technique. Imagine you agree to buy a car for a good price. Then the seller says, "Oh, sorry, there was a mistake. The price is actually higher." Because you already decided to buy the car, you might still buy it, even though the price is now worse. You want to be consistent with your first decision. But we can also use commitment for good things. If you want to change something about yourself, like eating healthy, tell people about it. Make a public promise. This can help you stick to your goal. Remind yourself of your promise to stay consistent. It is good to be consistent, but not if it means doing something wrong or bad for you. Sometimes you need to say, "I changed my mind." It is important to know when to be consistent and when to stop. Do not let the need to be consistent make you do foolish things. It is important to think for yourself and not just follow what you said before if it is no longer right. 8. Being together. Imagine a group of people working together. They feel connected like they are one team. This feeling is called unity. When we feel unity with others, we are more likely to say yes to them. This chapter is about being together and how unity influences us. Unity is about feeling like we are part of a group, like we share something important. It's about the power of we. When we see someone as part of our we trust them more. We are more willing to help them and agree with them. How do we create this feeling of unity? One way is by finding things we share. We can belong together because of our family, our hometown, or our shared experiences. Think about your family. You feel a strong connection because you are family. This is kinship. People also feel unity because of where they are from. People from the same town or country often feel a bond. This is belonging through place. Sharing experiences also creates unity. When people go through the same things, like celebrating a holiday together or facing a challenge as a team, they feel closer. Another way to create unity is by acting together. When people move together, sing together, or work together, they feel more united. This is acting together through synchrony. Cooperation also builds unity. When people work together to reach a goal, they feel a stronger connection. Making something together, co-creation, also creates unity. Working together is important to build strong groups. Unity is very powerful. It can help us in many ways. It helps us in teams, in communities, and even in bigger groups like countries. When we feel united, we are more likely to help each other and work together for good things. But like other powerful tools, unity can be used in a bad way. Some people might try to use our feeling of unity to trick us or to make us do things that are not good for us. It's important to be aware of this. We should ask ourselves, is someone using we to make me agree without thinking? Is someone making me feel like I must say yes because we are in this together, even if it doesn't feel right? It is good to feel unity and be part of a group, but it's also important to think for ourselves. We should enjoy being together, but also be careful that unity is used to help, not to trick us.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like. Write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.